The Eyes in the Dark. It all started when I was 14. My parents rented a cottage deep in the woods by a forgotten lake. The place felt ancient, musty, creaky, like the air had been trapped in it for decades. The living room had this massive floor-to-ceiling window that looked out into nothing but thick, suffocating woods. The kind where every crack of a branch sounded like something was stalking me. I remember hoping I could sleep, that maybe for once I could get some rest. But sleep had other plans. That's when it started. The paralysis. The kind where you wake up, but you can't move, can't scream, can't do anything except lie there in a frozen panic. The room felt wrong. Heavy, pressing down on me like the air itself was alive, suffocating me. It was freezing, but my skin felt too hot, my heart racing like it might explode, but no sound escaped. The silence was overwhelming, thick enough to drown in. Then I saw it. At first, it was just a shadow, a blur at the corner of my eye. But then it moved. It shifted, impossibly tall, stretching and folding into itself like it didn't belong in this world. The darkness around it bent and warped, like it was pulling the light away. And those eyes. They weren't like any eyes I've ever seen. They were just two dots of light, suffocating, pressing in on me. Not glowing, not shining, just cold, hard, bright dots, burning through the darkness, drilling into me. I couldn't look away. No matter where I turned, they were there. They weren't just watching me, they were inside me, pulling at my thoughts, my fears. My heart pounded in my ears, but it felt like the sound was swallowed by the suffocating quiet. I tried to scream, tried to move, but my body wouldn't listen. It wouldn't let me do anything but lie there, trapped. The longer I stayed frozen, the closer it came. The air felt thinner, harder to breathe. Every time I looked through half-closed eyelids, it was closer. Its presence pressing in, filling the room until it was all I could feel. Its face, or what might have been a face, was inches from mine. Its gaze relentless, burning, pulling at my soul. How long I lay there, I don't know. But eventually the paralysis lifted, and I bolted to my mom's room. I didn't leave her side until daylight chased it away. But that was only the beginning. It came back every year, always at the end of summer. Every time the air turned heavy, thick with the chill of autumn creeping in, it would return. Same presence, same suffocating weight pressing on my chest. Sometimes it was just a shape in the corner. Sometimes it was solid, looming above me, blacker than the shadows. Its eyes, those suffocating, burning dots, never leaving me. And no matter where I went, no matter how far I ran, it found me. Every house, every city, it didn't matter. The rooms would change, but it never did. It was always there, always watching, always waiting. I was always alone. Bullied, an outcast, I found comfort in the quiet, in the empty spaces. But there was one thing I could count on. My dog. Black Doberman, loyal and strong. She was the only one who ever made me feel safe. That night, it came again. The air turned cold, and my dog froze. Her ears twitched, her eyes narrowing, and then came the growl. A low, primal sound that wasn't like anything I'd ever heard before. It wasn't just a warning. It was fear. She knew something was coming, something I couldn't see. I froze, too. And then it appeared, blacker than black, impossibly dark, with those eyes, those suffocating dots of light, burning through the dark. She growled again, desperate, but I couldn't move. I couldn't protect her. I couldn't protect myself. The thing hovered, its shape distorting the air, pressing down on me. I felt its weight, cold and heavy, squeezing the life out of me. My dog stayed frozen, her eyes locked on the stairs, watching, guarding. 2 weeks later, she was gone. We never figured out why, but I know she wasn't just guarding me. She was guarding us both from that thing. And I couldn't protect her. I couldn't save her. I thought maybe it was just a childhood nightmare. I thought maybe it had faded with age. But at 26, I was wrong. It came back, and this time, it was worse. It wasn't just in the corner anymore. It wasn't just watching. This time, it was above me, on the ceiling, watching, suffocating. And for the first time, I felt it. It wasn't just a presence. It was physical. It was pressing down on me, crushing my chest, suffocating me. Its eyes, those suffocating dots of light, still burned through the darkness. But now, I could feel the weight of them. They weren't just watching me anymore. They were pressing into me, pushing me closer to the edge. I know deep down that it will never stop. It will always be there, waiting, watching, lurking in the dark, waiting for the next time I close my eyes. And every time I do, I wonder, will I see it again? And that was The Eyes in the Dark by MarvinMisery. What I like about this is the concept of like sleep paralysis, demons, or even not demons. Just the whole idea of being sleep paralyzed is horrifying, especially when it's at that moment. I've had it maybe once or twice, not very often in my life, but it has happened where you're like awake enough, maybe not fully awake, but awake enough, even where you might think you might still be dreaming, or even when you are just enough awake, and you literally are paralyzed and you can't really move. You're still kind of breathing, but it's hard to kind of do anything. You're cognizant, you're like looking around, and it's a freaky experience because you're like, oh my god, what's going on? It just can terrify you, and I think that totally makes sense. The only critique I'd have to say about this story is the word suffocating. Used a lot, very, very overused, but that's okay. That's the only real critique I got. So I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. I really enjoyed the story. I really liked it because, yet again, the concept of, I think having a demon or some kind of a spirit, some kind of an entity, ghost, whatever, what have you, that kind of like brings on this paralysis. I think that's a far more terrifying concept. It makes me think of some of the other stories I've covered, such as the Don't Sleep in My Parents' study or basement attic thing. I'll pop links in the description, obviously, so you can check out some of these as well. There might be cards if I figure out how to do all that. Or the other one I had in mind is oh goodness, I just had it. Something is rearranging my furniture. All of that one doesn't really have sleep paralysis, but it has things that happen because they're asleep, which is great. Both are really interesting stories. I gotta say, I love being able to cover horror stories. I think it's just because a lot of them can be really creative and really out there. I know I'm going to be writing a couple myself, potentially even on nosleep, which would be great. Let me know your thoughts about that down below. Otherwise, go give MarvinMisery some love. He definitely deserves it. Very good little story. I don't know if I'm going to make like a little subreddit, like a little community or something like that, if I am going to continue making stories and stuff like that, in which case then I might invite other people in which case they can put their own stories in, and obviously there might be a thing about if you put it here, do you want me to cover it in a video? I think that'd be quite fun, quite cool. I've got other ideas in the pipeline. I haven't quite figured all that jazz out yet. But thank you so much for watching. This has been Nate at Night. I've had a wonderful time, and I sure hope you have too. Be sure to give some love and support to not just Marvin, but myself. And we will catch you next time. Take care out there. Thank you to the YouTube and Patreon members who've been supporting this channel so far. This has been a fantastic effort. Thank you so much. I couldn't do any of this without your support. Really, I really can't. Thank you. You can also show support through a donation at coffee.com/nateatnight, or whenever I'm live streaming through super chats of YouTube or through Twitch. And whenever you donate, I'll be sure to read your messages out on stream.